Greetings, fellow space nerds, humans of Earth, and beyond. I'm Cornelius, back again with another Starfield shipbuilding video. Today, I've got build number 118, the UC PELIOS, a Class C UC Navy command cruiser, intended as a direct replacement for the UC Navy's aging fleet of Chimeras. The PELIOS outmatches the Chimeras in every way, with an advanced communication suite and experimental scanning arrays, combined with her heavy particle beam loadout and large bore ballistic cannons. The PELIOS and the follow-on ships of her class will be a massive force multiplier for the UC Navy. I've had this bird in the works for several weeks, and on a previous video, user RoyalAce asked if I had any UC Navy themed builds, and it turns out I did. So RoyalAce, this one's for you, bud. I bumped this up my post schedule, and here we are. I do wish Bethesda just gave us more ships in general. I mean, this map and this world is so massive. Just to have several classes of ships for each faction really doesn't make any sense. Does it make sense to y'all? Doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, this was a fun bird, the UC PELIOS. Hope y'all like it. Let's check her out. UC Navy's making an entrance over here. I hope one day we get more landing animations, even though the standard one is still pretty sweet, and I never tire of that SKK Shipbuilders mod. I tried to think about what an actual legit replacement for the UC Chimeras could look like. So I tried to keep maybe just at least a couple design cues from the Chimera. Obviously it's quite different looking, but there was some thought in that. The interior of this big girl is rather cavernous, which we'll see here in a second. Love these in Trinity parts as well. We used to work so hard to make certain merges, and then this in Trinity mod comes out, and it's doing it for us. Of course, I used a good amount of Matilda parts and armor trim pieces, because why not? As a command cruiser, I figured this bird would be loaded with data collection and transfer capabilities, hence our two big, let's call them experimental communication arrays. So that was fun to implement. Alright, into the belly of the beast. These Matilda triangle habs have so much room in them, which we'll see. So we enter into a small staging area. This is where the docker and the bay enter. This is an empty 2x2 from Deimos. And coming up on this hall, we have some secure storage. And our med bay. Now, every time I start another larger med bay, I always think, I've made so many of these, they're all going to look the same. But somehow, they all end up looking unique. I really like the way this one came out. I feel like I was able to use the space as efficiently as possible. Continuing aft, this is the first of several Matilija V-Habs. I built this one out to an armory. We've got our weapon bench and spacesuit workbench. Here's ammo storage. And here's our secure armory. This bird can deploy 12 UC Marines. We've got all their gear in here, as well as plenty of guns. No such thing as too many guns. This Jaeger 5.56 mod that basically gives you a saw in game is real fun. I'm really enjoying that gun. I do have to apologize for the brightness in here. Ever since Matilija's latest update, the Habs are super bright. And continuing aft, we enter our lift. Like I've done before, I use the outer area of the lift as storage. So let's head up to deck number 2. This is going to be engineering. That's where our reactor will be. This is just an initial workroom. Got our industrial workbench here. Some server storage. And this is 2x2 Deimos furnished engineering bay. This is my favorite engineering bay. I think they did a great job on this one. Because I unfortunately cannot use the Play Stores Yourself mod, I use these opportunities where the game just drops ladders to build walls around them, to make structural components, and so on. But if you can use Play Stores Yourself, I recommend it. And now we enter our Matilija reactor. These went through a rather significant change with his most recent update. I think they are rather sweet. I just added a few bits in there. And here is Deimos computer core. And moving forward, this is our primary captain's quarters. Again, as you've already seen, this is from Habs. Awesome. I just added this little TV wall. Now we head downstairs to a small brig. It's a 2-room brig. Seems like my entire crew is down here. This is an empty 1x1 Deimos that I built this out to. And now if we head all the way up these stairs, we'll enter our second captain's quarters, or I like the idea of a VIP berth. Alright, back to the lift. Let's head up to deck number 3. This is the crew deck. So we've got our mess hall, our galley, and our crew quarters here. This is the mess hall. And I turned this other portion of this Matilda VHAB into the galley. Similar to the med bays, every time I start a new kitchen, I'm like, I've already done everything so far. And then I make something new. I don't know the limits of my imagination. Here's a empty 2x2 crew quarters, Deimos, that I added all this stuff to. And here we've got 2 lavatories. And here's a smaller crew berth. Got 4 beds in here. And this is the showers. I like how this room came out. And this is the large crew bunk. Pretty basic, but this is a fighting ship, so this crew isn't going to have a whole lot. In this section we've got a small workstation, and then moving back is the laundry room. Alright, deck 4. This is the command bay. We've got our control room. I built this Matilda VHAB out to just be essentially an extension of this Deimos 2x2 control room. To the bridge we go. Now, right off the lift, I built in a small lavatory for the flight crew. And in this Deimos empty 1x1, I put the flight crew's EVA suits in case they have to evacuate. And here's a bridge. Got some monitors. And I closed this section in as a like a pilot's berth, just an area where your pilots can rest between their shifts. And I added a secondary station back here. And that's an interior. I feel like I gave this one the beans. I hope you guys liked it. It did take me several hours. Let's build it. Step 1. Walkable spaces. This is our bridge, the bay, the docker, the reactor, and all of our habs. Pretty straightforward on this one. I'll see you in step 2. Step 2. The bow. Nothing terribly complicated when it comes to the merges up here. All of the armor plating in this section is completely optional. There's nothing structural about it. You definitely do see some of my general design principles here of as above, so below. I am a fiend for symmetry, even though some of the most awesome spaceships ever are not symmetrical, but this is just how my brain works. If you ever have any questions about anything, the builds, how I build them, why I build them, let me know in the comments. I am thoroughly addicted to building these birds, and talking about them makes me happy. I'll see you in the next step. Alright, step 3. Our gear. Some pretty simple merges here. I'll leave you to it. You've made it to step 4. This is the sensor array, essentially the lateral sides of the build. I left one intact as reference since it is simply mirrored of the one we are about to put together. A pretty simple design, but these Avon Tech cores are really useful. They're very useful for getting circular shapes, for setting up engine nacelles, weapon emplacements. Very useful part. Now I put 2 of these structural shields, or decorative shields, together for this one, because if you just leave one mounted here, there is a very annoying tiny gap. So if you merge another one here, it eats up that gap and it now looks like it's one part. This Nova Mini Bracer is another extremely useful part. You can use them as I am here. You can use them to offset things. You can use them in, again, weapon setups, as well as engine nacelles. I have several builds where that mini bracer made it possible. This build does have 2 Matilija shield boosters. I really liked this idea of hiding them within these Hope Tech bumpers, and I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Step 5. This is our grav drive in the stern, essentially. These in Trinity parts really helps flesh out the design I was going for. And attached to either side of this Matilija grav drive are 2 of the new Matilija fuel cells. We're just going to merge them in this place. Now, these 2 vertical Matilija armor plates do serve a structural purpose here in the stern. So these 2 plates are the only ones that actually are required for the design. Step 6, our engine layout. Now back in step 5, where I said those Matilda vertical armor plates are structural, this is where you will see that. Now these two engines attach to the back of those Deimos spines. And these Deimos cowlings are attaching to those vertical Matilda armor plates. In order to get that merge, that is where we are making our connection. Final step, our ray domes and conning tower. Nothing too specifically weird or difficult on this one. These Nova mini bracers make great greebling bits for the top or outer areas of your ships. Whatever you get into, just have fun with it. And with that, you have claimed the UC PELIOS. Let's take her for a combat tour. If you made it this far, hell yeah, you're awesome. This interior took me way longer than I originally intended, but this kind of squarish shapes that we achieved with these 2x2 habs and the Matillage of E-habs, deceptively large on the inside, so you gotta put something in there. So I hope y'all enjoyed that one. RoyalAce, let me know if this one works for your roleplay. Thanks for all the comments on the previous video. And of course, if anybody has any questions, I'm generally available. So throw them down in the comments and we will discuss whatever. My next bird is heavily inspired from the world of Star Citizen. I'm rather excited about that one. I should have that build done and posted sometime this coming weekend. I still have far more shipbuilding ideas than I have time to try them all out. And as long as I'm still chasing that feeling, I'm gonna keep this going. Work on my mod does continue, hopefully sooner than later. I'm pretty excited about that, and I think y'all will enjoy it. In the meantime, thank you all so very much for the continued support, likes, views, comments, subs. We're on our way to 1K, baby. I'm Cornelius. You can find me in the Star Yard.